quietly. You must presume these men hold allegiance only to themselves.
In hate, river folk.
Our soldiers need to be paid, else there will be bedlam.
The Episode 4 trailer for House of the Dragon Season 3 just confirmed that everything Rhaenyra believed she had stabilized in King's Landing is about to be set on fire, and not metaphorically. Will the first Battle of Tumbleton happen in Episode 4, making this the most destructive single hour the Dance of the Dragons has produced since The Gullet? Or does the show hold that catastrophe back for the season's second half? Are Hugh Hammer and Ulf the White already being pushed toward the betrayal that fans of Fire and Blood have been dreading since the dragon seeds were first introduced? And does Episode 4 deliver the moment that turns them from Rhaenyra's greatest asset into her most catastrophic liability? Is Larys Strong's reappearance in the trailer the signal that Aegon II is no longer hiding quietly, that Larys has been building something in the shadows that is about to announce itself? Where is Aemond Targaryen, and what does it mean that Criston Cole and Gwaine Hightower arrive at Harrenhal to find him gone? And is Ormund Hightower's seizure of Tumbleton not just a military maneuver, but the opening move of a plan to crown Daeron Targaryen as a rival king, splitting the realm's loyalty in a direction Rhaenyra cannot answer with fire alone? Every single one of those questions has an answer, and this breakdown goes through the Episode 4 trailer frame by frame and explains exactly what is coming on July 12th. This channel breaks down every House of the Dragon episode and trailer every single week at this level, if that is what fans need every Sunday. Hitting subscribe and leaving a like right now takes 2 seconds and means the full Episode 4 breakdown lands here before the week is out. The single most important line in the entire Episode 4 trailer is Rhaenyra's own question, and the fact that she is asking it tells the audience everything about the strategic crisis she is walking into. When she says, standing before her small council with the kind of controlled fury that Emma D'Arcy has made the defining register of this character, why seize Tumbleton? He dares me to rain fire down on a seat that raised my banner. That is not a rhetorical question. That is a queen who has just realized she has been maneuvered into a position where every available response damages her. Tumbleton is a town in the Reach, and the Reach has historically been one of the regions that supported the Targaryen crown. Its people are not Rhaenyra's enemies. They are her subjects, or they were, before Ormund Hightower's 15,000 men marched through the gates and made themselves at home in the streets. The trailer confirms that viewers are going to see Tumbleton under occupation in Episode 4, and what that occupation looks like matters enormously for understanding what Ormund is actually trying to accomplish. He is not simply holding a town, he is holding a town full of innocent people and daring the Dragon Queen to burn them. Every dragon Rhaenyra sends toward Tumbleton is a dragon aimed at her own subjects. Every innocent body in the aftermath is a body she put there. Ormund has constructed a trap using the same weapon Rhaenyra used to take King's Landing, the threat of overwhelming dragonfire, and turned it into a shield that she cannot strike without striking herself. But the Tumbleton crisis raises the most dangerous question the trailer contains, and that question belongs to Hugh Hammer and Ulf the White. The evidence that the show has been deliberately building toward the betrayal of both dragon seeds has been accumulating since the moment they were knighted. Daemon treats them with visible contempt, refusing to extend the social courtesies that would cost him nothing and buy him everything. Rhaenyra delayed their requests at the court session in Episode 3, granting Adam of Hull a knighthood, while refusing to give Corlys's sons the Valerion name. And in doing so, she communicated to every dragonseed watching that their service is valued, but their humanity is not. Now the trailer reveals that Cat, Hugh's wife, who has been established as the emotional anchor that keeps Hugh tethered to the Black Cause, is already inside Tumbleton when Ormund's forces take it. The most logical reading of that detail is devastating in its simplicity. Cat is now a hostage, whether Ormund intended her to be one or not, and Hugh does not know it yet. The moment he finds out, every calculation that keeps Hugh Hammer loyal to Rhaenyra collapses under the weight of a single question: what will Rhaenyra actually do to get his wife back? And the answer, based on everything Episode 3 demonstrated about how she treats the people who serve her, is that she will do considerably less than Hugh needs her to do. However, unfortunately, what happens when a man with a dragon decides his queen has failed him is not a political problem, it is a fire problem. In Fire and Blood, The first battle of Tumbleton ends with Hugh and Ulf switching to the green, cause mid-battle, and burning the town they were sent to liberate. The show has been building to this with more deliberate care than it has built to almost any other single moment in Season 3, and Episode 4 appears to be the episode where that building stops and the burning begins. The trailer moment that has generated the most intense fan discussion is the reappearance of Larys Strong, and what that reappearance signals about where Aegon II actually is. Larys tells someone in the trailer, in the measured, precise way he delivers every sentence that has ever mattered in this show, that we must guard our intent quietly, and that the people around Rhaenyra should be presumed to hold allegiance only to themselves. The surface reading of that line is a warning about the reliability of Rhaenyra's allies. The more important reading is the subtext of who Larys is talking to and why he has chosen this moment to resurface. Larys Strong disappeared with Aegon II at the end of Episode 1, and neither has been formally accounted for since. Every week that Aegon remains hidden is a week that Team Green's legitimate king exists somewhere in the realm, potentially building support, potentially corresponding with lords who have not yet formally declared for Rhaenyra, and certainly providing Ormund Hightower with the political justification he needs to keep fighting, because Ormund's cause is not Darren's cause by default. It is Aegon's cause, and Aegon being alive means the Green succession is not settled. The most compelling reading of Larys's trailer appearance is that he has not abandoned Aegon. He has been managing him, keeping him hidden, keeping him safe, and waiting for the moment when putting Aegon back on the board creates maximum damage to Rhaenyra's position. Episode 4, landing at the exact season midpoint, is precisely the kind of structural placement where that kind of revelation gets deployed. While the King's Landing politics and the Tumbleton crisis dominate the trailer's foreground, the development that carries the most long-term dramatic weight is Criston Cole and Gwaine Hightower arriving at Harrenhal to find Aemond gone. Gwaine's line in the trailer, "We seek Prince Aemond," is delivered with an urgency that communicates this is not a routine search. Aemond Targaryen, the most dangerous dragon rider Team Green possesses, the man who rides Vhagar, the largest living dragon in the known world, has vanished from the location where Daemon left him. The trailer confirms that Vhagar returns in Episode 4, and that return is the single most terrifying military development Rhaenyra's reign has yet faced, because Vhagar is larger than Caraxes, larger than any of the Dragonseed's mounts, and is ridden by a man whose entire personality is organized around the desire to win at any cost. An unaccounted-for Aemond is infinitely more dangerous than an Aemond fighting a set-piece battle in a known location. The fan theory with the most traction currently, and it is well supported by both the trailer footage and the book's underlying architecture, is that Aemond is not retreating. He is positioning. Vhagar appearing in the trailer without Aemond in frame suggests the dragon is moving independently of where Criston and Gwaine are looking, which means by the time anyone finds either of them, it will be because Aemond chose to be found. However, unfortunately for Rhaenyra, the location Aemond is most likely positioning toward is the one place that would cause her the most damage, and with Tumbleton already occupied by Ormond, a coordinated strike involving both the Hightower ground forces and Vhagar from the air would turn a strategic inconvenience into a catastrophe. The secondary character whose Episode 4 trajectory has fans most divided is Daemon, and the trailer makes his position considerably more complicated than it was at the end of Episode 3. Daemon tells someone, in that particular tone he uses when he is trying to sound reasonable while recommending something unreasonable, that our soldiers need to be paid, else there will be bedlam. This line is doing significant work in the trailer because it places Daemon in the position of someone managing a practical crisis rather than enjoying one. And Daemon does not manage practical crises comfortably. He was sent to the Eyrie to collect gold from Lady Jane Arryn and to retrieve Rhaenyra and Sheepstealer. The Eyrie scene in Episode 4 is going to be one of the season's most charged, because it puts Daemon in the same physical space as the daughter whose actions at the Battle of the Gullet contributed to Jacaerys's death. Daemon knows, Rhaenyra knows, what neither of them has yet confronted, at least not in the present timeline of the show, is what that knowledge means for Rhaenyra's future within the family structure, and whether the wild dragon she has bonded with becomes a military asset or a liability, that Rhaenyra decides she cannot afford to leave unmanaged. The financial dimension Daemon raises in the trailer is also worth taking seriously, because an unpaid army in a city that is already rationing food and dealing with political instability is the historical precondition for exactly the kind of internal collapse that no amount of external dragon power can prevent. The thread that connects every element of the Episode 4 trailer into a single coherent picture is Ormund Hightower's strategic intelligence and what his seizure of Tumbleton actually reveals about the overall green strategy for the second half of this war. Ormund cannot win a direct military confrontation with Rhaenyra's dragon fleet. He knows this. What he has demonstrated across Episodes 3 and 4's setup is that he does not need to win a direct confrontation. He needs to make every confrontation Rhaenyra attempts cost her more than she can afford to pay. The fake Darren bought his forces time to march to Tumbleton without pursuit. Tumbleton's civilian population prevents Rhaenyra from using her dragons directly. An unpaid army creates internal pressure in King's Landing. A missing Aemond keeps Rhaenyra's defenders looking in the wrong direction. And the dragon seeds, insufficiently rewarded, publicly humiliated, and personally connected to people now trapped inside Ormund's occupied town, are the weapon Ormund does not even need to actively recruit. He simply needs to wait for Rhaenyra to push them far enough. The most dangerous military commander is not the one with the most soldiers. It is the one who understands his enemy's weaknesses well enough to let those weaknesses do the fighting for him. Ormund Hightower, played by James Norton, with a precision that makes every scene he occupies feel like a very polite countdown to catastrophe, is that commander. Episode 4 of House of the Dragon Season 3 airs Sunday, July 12, 2026, on HBO and Max at 9 p.m. Eastern, written by David Hancock and directed once again by Claire Kilner, whose work on Episode 3 has already been called the best single-episode direction the show has produced. As the season's midpoint chapter, Episode 4 carries the structural responsibility of shifting the war's momentum decisively, the moment where everything that has been building across the first half stops building and starts collapsing. Based on the trailer, it is delivering exactly that. The Battle of Tumbleton, the Dragonseed betrayal, Aemond's return on Vhagar, and Larys Strong moving in the shadows, all of it points toward an episode that ends with the board looking completely different from how it looked when the hour began. Now the conversation moves to the fans. Does the first Battle of Tumbleton happen in Episode 4? Do Hugh and Ulf actually switch sides in this episode? Or does the show hold that betrayal back for one more week of setup? And where exactly is Aemond? The theory that he is not retreating but positioning deserves a debate in the comments, because if Vhagar arrives over a battlefield that Rhaenyra's forces believe is already won, the consequences for the Black Cause are going to be genuinely devastating. Drop both answers below. The video on screen covers everything fans need before July 12th.